But I'm going to go the other way with my last one. The wing that is not a wing. When does it expire? Uh-oh.
Problem.
What's up, folks? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Off the Record. We love Off the Record. You know why? They're here to help you. If you get pulled over, if you get a ticket, you don't plead guilty. That's for the suckers. And you're not a sucker, are you? Instead, get a hold of Off the Record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST or download that Off the Record app and use code TSTPOD, TSTPOD. What Off the Record will do is they'll set you up with a qualified attorney in the jurisdiction that you got pulled over in, and they'll fight that ticket for you. That might mean paperwork. That might mean meeting with prosecutors. That might mean going to court. The whole shebang-a-bang. They'll do all of it, and then they'll call you, and very much most likely they'll say your ticket has been dismissed, your ticket has been reduced. They've got a fantastic success rate, so much so that they have a money-back guarantee. If Off the Record can't get those points off of your record, you don't pay. So go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TSTPOD on the Off the Record app and get 10% off all legal services for Off the Record. They are great. I get emails every single week from folks who say, man, they really saved me on this one. Really hooked it up. They're loving it. I've used them myself, and they'll help you too. So make sure you call Off the Record before pleading guilty. They will get you out of a jam. All right, folks. Today on the Smoking Tire Podcast, Zack learns in real time that his passport is about to be expired. Plus, I review the Maybach 600, the GLS 600 SUV, talk about 3 years with my Ford Mach-E lease that is getting returned at the end of this week, and Zack and I have our list in honor of the GT3 RS that just arrived in the garage, our top 5 wing cars of all time. That's what we're talking about. Right? Right. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Let's go. Popular podcast hosts Ham Mule arrested at LAX airport.
Arrested for smuggling ham.
I would frame that on this wall. That's like Seinfeld was on like Fallon or one of those shows talking about the Pop-Tarts movie the other night. And he was like, we didn't tell Kellogg's we were making this movie. We just like made it.
Is that true?
It probably is.
Can you use their logo if it's satire?
It's satire. You probably can.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably can. And like, he said, he's like, if they sued me, like that would make my life to be sued over Pop-Tarts, which I think is probably true. And I think he'd probably find comedy in getting sued over Pop-Tarts.
He might.
I mean, it's free marketing for Kellogg. Why would you sue Seinfeld?
That's why I thought they might have
movie about
agreed
your
to it.
product.
That's why I thought they might have agreed to it. It's like the Barbie movie, you know. But
I mean, maybe they did, and like, but nevertheless, point being, if I had a jamon mule and that was a headline,
dude,
I would embrace it.
I'm proud of you for embracing it because I know some of the internet would be very mean to you because you were illegally importing ham.
Yes, I would. But see, that you know why they would be mean?
Lamborghini owner.
They would be mean to me because they probably haven't tried the quality of the ham. If they tried the jamon, they would go, you know what? He's got a fucking point. Just saying.
And how much? It's twice the price here as it is there?
It's twice the price to buy it here.
So it's still expensive there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
No, it's not like it's fucking penny. Although to eat it at a restaurant is not insanely expensive.
But to get the entire
it's a ton.
Yeah.
Because it's served in, like, a serving is like 100 grams, and the leg is 7 kilos.
Yeah.
So, like, by virtue of scale.
Okay.
You know, like, buying enough weed for your weekend is not that expensive, but buying enough weed for a year is, you know, that could add up.
Yeah.
Just saying. Which, speaking of which, my favorite affordable bourbon, the Taconic Distillery, the shit that I like, because like a lot of the really good stuff that I like, that it's like now that bourbon's super popular, that shit's become very expensive. The Taconic Distillery stuff, they were selling it at Bevmo, which if you're not from LA, that's like a fucking giant liquor store that's like a chain. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of shit. It's a good, honestly.
Costco of liquor, maybe, as a chain here?
Yeah, but everything they sell is like generally related to partying. It's not.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
but they have a lot. They've got a big selection. Generally, a good store, if I'm honest. But and I was so excited because like a year ago, they started selling Taconic, which I could only get on the East Coast before. So super excited, telling everybody. And they were down to one bottle, the local one, the other day. So I bought the last bottle, and I was like, hey, do any of the other Bevmos like have more of this? Because I wanted to get one as a gift for somebody. And the guy's like looking in the computer, and he's like, oh, we're like not going to be carrying this anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, we're not getting it. I'm like, motherfucker. And I was like, can you give me a list of existing inventory?
Really?
Yeah.
You did the Elaine Sponge move and you drove around?
Yes. And Hannah and I drove around, and I bought 7 bottles, which I think were the last 7 bottles in the greater Los Angeles area.
Wow.
So now I have enough for, I don't know, a little while.
Yeah,
But
it should last you a couple of years.
It should last me a while. It's not, yeah, it should last a while. But like, I was super bummed. But then I was like, well, we need a mission. So we went on a mission and bought all the bourbon.
Needed a mission. Needed a Saturday activity.
We did. We needed a thing to do. Yeah. So we bought all
You had your own Easter egg hunt. That's what you did.
pretty much.
Yeah.
All the eggs.
Kind of a boozy version
All
of
the
it.
eggs were identical. And it was on sale. That was awesome. $47 a bottle, which is like $20 off.
Wow. So they're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, I guess people did not appreciate it here, I guess.
There are a lot of bourbons for sale.
are.
There's a lot of competition. You know, how do you get someone's attention when they walk by?
A hunting dog on the bottle is not going to do it in California.
Depends on which county.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, lease is up on the Mach-E this week.
Yeah.
It goes back on Friday. 3 years. Three years that's been. Gotta say, other than a couple of early production, software issues, overall, just a great car.
I agree.
Fantastic automobile. Never had any issue with it that prevented us from driving it. So like the icons went black and white on the screen at one point. All right.
The windows rolled themselves down.
The window thing. Yeah, the windows bounced down. You could if you that was the auto.
okay.
It was only the auto. So if you held it, it would close.
It wasn't a security issue.
No, it wasn't a security issue. Couple like just little silly things that required some updates. But like, I definitely would buy another.
Someone has a white one near my house, my apartment, and I just look at it. I still think it's a really good looking car.
Yeah.
And it rides really nice. And the little screen in it, that's a really good EV crossover.
Yeah. We did 29,000 miles in 3 years. It is exactly as efficient as it's reported. 300 miles, no problem. We switched from the Michelin tires to the Vredestein tires, which actually worked out because it was like really wet this winter.
Yeah.
And those Vredesteins are awesome in the rain.
Yes.
The thing is fucking great in the wet. And just like it's an appliance, but it's a really nice appliance. It just I never wished for a faster car. Hannah really liked almost everything about it. She would have preferred a few more buttons. She didn't like that, for instance, like the seat heaters and stuff were in the touchscreen menu. But,
Yeah.
I mean, not the end of the world. The phone connectivity was good, and the stereo, Bang & Olufsen stereo was good, and just generally a car that is worth every dollar they're asking for it. The wear and tear on it, the only thing that looks worn at all is the track advance button on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Everything else looks like brand new. It's so weird how the rest of the car has held up like fabulously, except this one button.
It rubbed off. Every time I get in the car and drive it, I look and I just like all the black, I guess whatever on the clear
came
plastic is off.
Yeah, it's really weird that
Yeah.
one thing did not hold up, but like everything else the leather's really good, the carpet's held up really well, the steering wheel leather didn't get shiny, like everything about that car held up really well, like except that. Really, really weird.
Yeah.
And didn't cost us a dime in anything. I mean, all the service and all the maintenance was all included. I guess the tires, Vredestein provided us a set of tires to talk about them. So we would have had to. We probably could have gotten away with the whole lease on one set of tires, like probably. But like, Vredestein offered tires, and we were like, Well, let's just do them now because the winter's coming and we want to have like a good water tire. It didn't affect the efficiency at all. There's no noticeable difference in really the dynamics or the efficiency to go from the Michelin to the Vredestein. They were basically the same. But yeah, come Friday, we will have no more daily. The Bentley will be the daily driver for the next 5 months.
Wow. Wow.
So the real adventure begins.
Yeah. You're doing your own Peking to Paris, but it's just around town.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of excited for the adventure of that. That's the worst thing that can happen. It costs tens of thousands of dollars like everything else in my fucking life.
Oh, that is the worst. I was thinking like you'd get stuck somewhere, have to call AAA, and you'd come in very frustrated. But it's actually worse to spend tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, yeah. But I got the Haggerty Premium roadside, so we can send it to Charlie's for free no matter where we are. But if you're looking for like a electric crossover, like I would definitely recommend the Ford. It's especially now that you can use the Tesla superchargers, at least some, and they're going to give you the adapter. And then I don't know when they're going to switch the port. I think it's next year where it'll actually be the Tesla port rather than the CCS port. But like whatever.
Your car rides so much better than any Model 3 I've been in, and maybe I've just been in bad ones, but
they don't ride.
They ride like they're really stiff.
Yeah,
and your car just rides like a comfortable.
They're very.
car.
Remember Miro was here, and he wouldn't say which automaker, doesn't want their cars to lean, and then they ride badly because they don't have body roll. That was Tesla. That's what he meant. He didn't say it, but I would. But yeah, no, the ride is like a little. It's a little rental car-y, and maybe I'm spoiled because I got out of like,
a Rolls Royce.
Well, yes, and then
Royce.
the $206,000 Maybach, and got back in it, and so compared to those cars, the ride is a little unrefined. Like I really, really, really wish Ford would do the mag ride suspension, but tuned for comfort as an option.
Right, not the Mach.
Not the Sport.
Mach-E GT.
Yeah, it's too stiff.
Really stiff.
Yeah, but it's like if you're not comparing it to deep six-figure luxury cars, then it's just fine.
Yeah, and if I'm going to have it be unrefined, I want it on the squishy side, not the stiff side. Because I think that the Model 3 is also unrefined, but it's just too stiff.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, 3 years. Where 3 years with that thing? Went by pretty quick, actually.
Someone said, "Yeah, fast 3 years."
It was a fast 3 years, and I didn't think the car would be as good as it was. I mean, it's Ford's first electric car, other than the couple of issues we had in the first couple of months that, by all accounts, have been worked out with cars that were built 6-8 months later up till now that are not having any of those problems. It's worked exactly like it's supposed to work, which is really impressive.
Every time I drive Sarah's RAV4 Hybrid, I'm so excited to drive an electric. Like it's same thing I experienced in your car and something you've lived with for 3 years probably. It's just calming. It's quiet. It's a nice normal thing versus, we like to drive the exciting stuff, and you have a bunch of interesting cars, but there's like the fun side of taking it out to do something, but then there's also more effort put into it and more thought put into it, and you got to pay attention to things a little bit more.
Yeah, when you're just like going to the grocery store, an electric car is great.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And it's different. Like with the Bentley is like different. It's the same kind of It's the same relaxing, but for a different reason. It's sort of like the electric car. There's no vibrations, but you can also like put it places and like make moves, and I drive like a little more aggressively in that. In the Bentley, I'm in this lane.
Just staying.
And I'm going to stay in this lane until I'm not like weaving like I would do in an electric car. It's easy to drive a complete shit out.
Do you feel bad driving it short distances because the oil doesn't get up to temp and stuff like that? Like I feel like taking an EV is good for that stuff.
Yeah, it's great for that.
I don't feel bad about that. Yeah. But with the Bentley, do you feel like, ooh, I should have got it up to running temperature and this
like
is
a little
trip
bit, but the more if you drive a car once a week and that one drive a week is a mile, then yeah, that's not great. But if you drive it every single day and some of those drives are a mile, but some of those drives are 5 or 10, then I think it's probably fine.
It's all about the average.
It's not like you're starting this thing up and like revving it to $5,000. It doesn't even go to $5,000. You know what I mean? Like, I start it up. If I drive from the house to the office, it's 1,500 RPM. It's not like I'm putting a ton of strain on the thing.
So I appreciated the GR Corolla when you turn it on and it says like limit acceleration due to engine temperature.
Yeah. Thou shalt not mob yet.
Just not yet.
Yeah.
Just wait. Yeah.
Yeah. GR Corolla is good though.
It is.
That's a lovely little car.
Yeah. I didn't have many complaints about it. I mean, it's a really solid machine.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I had. Do I have any? Did I have any complaints about it?
Needs lumbar support.
Yeah, the
Seats
tires
okay.
have more grip than the seats have lumbar.
Yep.
Oh, the lumbar support. It does not have adjustable lumbar. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I
was
sat
thinking
in it.
bolster.
Bolster's okay.
Yeah.
I remember on the track it was okay, but I sat in it for like 9 hours straight the other day for that photo shoot, and I just didn't get out very much. And after 9 hours, I could have used some adjustability for my spine in particular. So, you know.
Yeah. For the day I
individual
did the
results
photo
may vary.
shoot with the 750 with the carbon seats, I was real stiff after that. And actually, the Gunther Works seats were better than the McLaren seats in that regard.
And you won't often spend 7-8 hours in a McLaren 750S, but I feel like the
if I
GR
did,
is a totally well-rounded car that you should be able to road trip and drive over here. It's pretty expensive. Like, just add a little motorized airbag.
Yeah.
You know, it'll add 20 pounds to the driver's seat, and then, it'll weigh 3305. But I think that'd be a nice
But that's
upgrade.
someone's everyday car.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
If you're
That'd be
going
a
to
good
buy
option.
a McLaren to use as an everyday car, I encourage that, but get the comfort seats.
Yes.
And then you're fine. Then they're there. I don't know how many hours I did. I'm guessing that first day when I went to Pebble, I must have done 7-8 hours in that car. Certainly coming back from Pebble in the hurricane, I easily did 7-8 hours in the car in that.
Yeah.
And I was tired, but I wasn't hurting.
Yeah, because that's a 6-hour drive without a hurricane.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was getting a little loopy by the end of that one.
That's a long day.
Yeah, but I was like, once you pass Oxnard, you're not going to stop for a nap.
No, yeah.
You're like, oh my God, let me get there. God damn it. But on the other end of that spectrum, I was driving this Maybach 600, which I actually don't know, like, why I got it. Like, all of a sudden I looked at my calendar and I was like, Maybach 600. Like,
Wait, didn't you ask for this as a photo vehicle, or?
Like, no.
Oh.
I just so happened, I needed a photo crew vehicle.
Right.
And I just so happened to have this on the calendar.
Oh, okay.
And I don't really know why I got it on the calendar. I think it was one of those, I think when I booked the SL43, they're like, oh, by the way, we've got this. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah. I think I just said yes. And then it was like on the calendar. And I forgot about it until it was like about to be there. And then Dan was like, can you find a crew vehicle for the photographers? And at first I like sent an email to Toyota asking for like a Highlander. And then I was like, wait, I've got this Maybach. Like, let's just use that. And so we did. So we used it for a crew vehicle for a week.
Which was really nice, except when they did car to car, because it has the giant champagne cooler that sticks out into the back of the trunk, which is really funny. So to watch Michael like impressively contort himself. I mean, he's 6'2".
He's tall.
He's tall.
He's thin, but he's tall.
Yeah, but he packed himself in there for photography, shooting out the back for car to car. But the rest of the time, those guys were just in luxury.
They were rolling.
Oh,
yeah. We did a video with this thing 2 years ago, and they haven't actually changed it since, except for these wheels,
which I think are rad.
I'm pro monoblock.
Yeah.
$206,000. It's got the hydraulic suspension, which it was nice to use this hydraulic suspension. Oh shit! It got up. Instagram fucked me on that. I spun all the fucking photos around. Instagram desktop sometimes will put photos upside down. That's annoying. I don't think I can replace that once it's posted. I think I have to do the whole thing over.
Yeah, just leave it.
Whatever.
Easter egg.
Yeah. April Fool's Day, upside down photo.
There you go.
But so the hydraulic suspension on this, which actively leans into corners, I think it leans a little more than Porsche's. But I think that's because it has a little more travel to work with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do the flared nose thing when you brake. So it only leans. It doesn't do the forward and back tilt.
I wonder if, like, when it's leaning left on a left-hand turn, if it just reduces the pressure on the left side and the right side kind of stays static. Whereas if it's flaring against this, I mean, this thing must weigh 6,000 pounds.
Yeah,
so to flare against that mass would be like a big bicep curl.
It might
but
be.
It's such a cool feature.
It's really meant to be driven in.
Mm-hmm.
Driving it is not that special, but riding in the back of it is pretty dope. Like all the chassis tuning is set up for rear seat comfort. Like, there's no third row, so that the second row has all the room.
Yeah.
There's the fucking fridge. You can
seats are
control
amazing.
everything. Yeah, the seats are amazing.
I think this car from the back, I really like the silhouette of the shape of this thing. I just think it's a really good looking, like it you know, where the X5 and X7 went for like a more edgy design to look tough. This
Yeah.
is just like a solid block of, I don't know, like
And
molten
actually,
steel.
and despite the wheels, it's actually like a pretty sleepy thing. Like it's actually two-tone, which is tough to see. It's like dark plum and like slightly lighter plum.
Yeah.
You can only see it in the first photo, and you can only see it like a little bit. Like, it's actually tough.
If you get rid of the Maybach badge on the C-pillar back
Yeah.
here, and then also these front grills, which
Yeah.
are a little gaudy, otherwise it's pretty stealth.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
as far as things that are that nice on the inside, it's pretty low-key on the outside.
Yeah.
Most people don't really notice it. I'm so annoyed that photo's upside down. I love the steering wheel with the outside rim in wood and then the inside rim in leather. I really liked that. The natural wood materials are really nice. It's all really nice. I mean, the whole thing is
Yeah.
is a really nice thing. It's not that special to drive. It's really nice to be driven in. The whole thing is optimized for a rear seat. But like when you've got that fridge taking up half the trunk,
Yeah.
what is now the point of the SUV instead of the sedan, really?
It's like someone shoved a telephone pole in the back of the car and it punched through into the back seat, just like
Yeah.
right between you.
Yeah.
So it's specifically basically for champagne bottles, right?
It has
fit-
the champagne glass holder.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I put a bunch of waters in there. Like, it'll cool other shit.
Oh, of course it will. But I mean, doesn't it have a holder for a bottle?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It also has heated and cooled cup holders, which is a boss move. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you can get that in a Chrysler 300, but that is a boss move. It does work.
Well, if you
Particularly
can
if you've
get it
got
in
a
a 300,
can.
you better be able to get it here. So
Right, but you can't get it in other stuff.
that's
Like, I don't.
what
I
else would
haven't.
come in?
I mean, I don't know.
A lot of
I
Chrysler
drove an
products.
Audi S8 that was 140 grand, and that didn't have it.
that should have it.
Yeah. Generally, very, very like I don't think she'd mind saying this. Hannah got a colonoscopy this morning because she's of that age. That's what happens when you hit a certain age. You got to do it. Everyone should do it.
I know.
Everyone should do it. I don't think she would mind me talking
We'll
about
find
her
out.
colon slightly.
Actually, she doesn't listen to this show.
She doesn't give a shit. But like, this is probably the best car possible to take someone home from from the hospital where they've been under anesthesia and had things in their butt. Perfect car for that.
Just because it's so comfortable.
So comfortable, very low impact on the backside.
Oh, right. You don't have to drop into the seat.
Right,
It's more of a lateral
right,
move.
very sleepy. In fact, it has these power running boards, which easily the worst feature of the whole car, because it's not tall enough to need a running board.
Well, if you were 5'5", would it be tall enough?
It's yes. Hannah got it into the car. No, Hannah was like, "Why is this?"
Oh,
here?
she didn't. Okay, so she
No
didn't
one
use
wants.
the running board.
No one wants the running board. So,
Yeah.
but they come out every time, and they like take out your ankles. They come out pretty far, so you got to deactivate those because there's so many settings in this car. This car is peak setting. You know what I mean? Like we talked about on the other show with the rolls. Like you get up to a certain price point and they just say more, set, custom. And then beyond that, they start taking shit away again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rolls just has drive. This has like 74 drive modes. Like it literally has like if you go to the dynamic switch.
Sport and Sport Plus
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff? Oh.
yeah. And then it has like Maybach mode, which optimizes for rear seat.
Oh, yeah.
And then it has the
That is
curves,
nice.
the active curves mode. And then there's off-roading modes. Like it's got the fucking gamut of modes. Whereas Rolls-Royce has D.
But I would argue that this has more ability because of its crazy suspension.
Yes,
So,
I agree. That's true. But like I'm saying this is peak mode.
yeah, this is as much as we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get past this, there's fewer modes and fewer choices and fewer screens. But like you really have to take half an hour and set the car up. Go through every menu and because like the lane keep assist is real aggressive. Like you want to get rid of all that shit, and then you want to use so many seat adjusters. You want to set all that how you want it. Like set up your screens, layouts, like how you want it, and then once it's done, you leave it and it's fine. But like there's a lot of settings. The main one is to turn off the fucking running boards because they suck.
Well, it's like it's a cool gizmo. Makes you feel like your cost is justified. It's like, and it does this.
Yeah, they were probably like, all right, what can we put on here?
You know what it is? It's the mechanical version of the puddle light that shines from the bottom of the mirror.
It also has those. You seen those?
Turn that off.
The weird grill logo, the mesh that's made of Maybach logos. That's what the puddle light is too.
I just think puddle lights are dumb no matter how much your car costs. I think they're very silly. Everyone knows what it is when they walk up to it. And if they don't, looking down and seeing the Maybach logo won't inform them. It doesn't say Maybach.
Yeah. No, but in general, though, it's very pleasant.
It's a very nice car.
It's a very nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you must have a photo shoot, your photographers will be extremely spoiled. If you
They
get one
were.
of these.
The customization thing's hard because especially if you're a person who's shopping in this price point, you're used to ordering things your way.
Right.
So do you want no customization, more like, here you go, here's what we think is perfect? Because then if your customer doesn't think it's perfect, then they're going to complain and they won't buy the car.
No, I don't mean customization. Like, because with a Rolls Royce, you can customize.
No, I know
anything.
you're talking about settings, but there's like the
Setups.
light settings and there's the driving settings and there's the seat settings. I mean, I think we've had a couple cars lately that had the different color LEDs, but it was different lights on top and bottom. And I'm like, okay, I can choose I can choose the color for one set of lights, but now you've just multiplied all the combinations by 2. So I don't need different lights for my feet and my hands.
Yeah. This was like when we did the house, and Sarah was like, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, give me 3 things to choose from, and I'll pick one.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want infinite choice. Infinite
Give
choice
me
is
3.
too much. Yeah, definitely. So the Maybach, put a little review on Instagram. Sorry about the upside down photo. I guess that will probably, I should just do that for sure because it'll just drive comments and then for engagement. So everyone's like, photos upside down. You know what I'm saying?
Did anybody talk about it?
I'm sure somebody did.
Third picture is Maybach dumping out your bank account. That's great.
That's right. And yes, Vetrano J, I do know I can get it without the fridge. Sir Nicholas in 93, what percentage are you in? Reference it in every post-podcast video. I think I'm probably in like do you count from the bottom? I think I'm probably like 95th percent.
What are we referring to?
Like
height?
I said in the post, if you're like the 0.01%, you want one of these to have somebody drive you around in.
Oh, like your economic status?
Yeah, I think I'm like 95. I don't think I'm 1 or certainly not 0.01, but like.
I'd have to look at a graph to see.
I think I looked at a graph once, and I think it was like 95. So anyway, that's, you know what I did today that was real scary? Sent in my passport for renewal.
Oh.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't have an international flight booked, and I did do the expedited. Expedited's like 8 weeks. But
Which still feels like a long time when a press launch could pop up.
You know what's going to happen? Like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, GT2 RS.
In the snow. In Norway.
This is, there's no way for the State Department to go, but I might be invited.
Yeah. They're not going to have empathy for that.
That's what's going to happen.
Ooh, I should look at mine. I think it's next year.
Yeah. You got to do it like 6 months before it expires.
Yeah.
Mine didn't expire until November. But because I had no international flights booked right now, I was like, probably do it now.
I just got really paranoid about when my passport expires. I might even have it on.
You should. Is it here? You should check because when are you going to Spain?
Well, I go to France.
Oh, for McLaren.
McLaren beforehand.
Right.
Ooh, I do have it here.
Yeah.
About to shit my pants.
And you
live
got the
on
double
air.
You got the double pages. That's what I got too. When does it expire?
Problem.
Get the fuck out of here.
Real problem.
How real problem?
April 16th of 2024.
Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious?
I'm totally serious. Oh, shit.
Well, actually,
I thought I saved it on my calendar to read.
Well, it is, but it's not. Here's why it's not. Because you've got flights booked. So because you have a flight booked, you can now get on the emergency passport renewal train. So you're going to have to do it this week.
Yeah, it's like tomorrow.
Yeah. But you'll get one in 48 hours. Like if you actually it's going to cost you a little money though.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's probably going to cost you like $250.
Yeah, it is. Shit.
Yeah. I can't believe that because I'm talking about this on the show that you have all of a sudden checked.
I can't believe I didn't put it in my calendar
16th,
a year ago.
They might not let you fly. That's close enough that they might, because aren't you going to April?
Oh, my flight out?
I think your flight back is after that. You fly back on the 17th. And are you flying straight to South Carolina?
No, they were going to make that would have added a day, and they didn't want to like put me up somewhere for a day.
Would have added a day over there.
Or they were willing to fly me to Savannah the day before.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to like stay in a whatever hotel for a day.
Why?
Because I would have been landing a day early.
My parents live there. You just go to my house.
Well, I didn't know that, so I came home.
They're just there.
Yeah, I'll come home.
Oh,
And
that's
I'll fly with Sarah.
You could probably change that still, but yeah, that's after it expires. You're stuck in fucking France with no.
Where did that
passport.
calendar event go?
They wouldn't let you fly if your return trip is after the passport expired.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
They're not supposed to let you fly like within a month of it expiring. I'm shocked they let you book the ticket.
Me too. But I don't think it's
Because you had to give them your passport in order to book that ticket.
Yeah, of course.
And probably the expiration date too. I don't know, but you're
I don't
okay.
think so.
You're,
if I had to give them the expiration date, I would have put my pants 2 months ago.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But because you've got flights booked, you're gonna have to go there in person, and you're gonna have to pay a couple $100, but you will get a new passport in 48 hours.
Oh, great! another task added to my list of tasks.
Yeah, the problem is we don't have enough to do. You and I, we get too much time on our hands, not enough to do. Yeah, that's
unbelievable.
That's important.
Shit. Fuck.
Whoops. Yeah, that's awfully close. I can't believe you got 2 weeks. That's amazing. I've been thinking about this for like months. I'm like, finally, I'm in the same calendar year as this thing.
No, I think I set it. I thought I'd set a calendar event for like December when things are quiet to like renew it or something.
Yeah, you probably did, and then you fucking looked at it and went, yeah.
I'll do that later.
Went back to taking a shit.
Very possible. Yeah, I do that.
Never thought of it again.
That's very possible.
That's hilarious.
All right. See what happens.
Speaking of flying, today's main topic.
Oh, yeah. Good transition.
In honor of the fact that a very yellow GT3 RS has shown up in the driveway today. It's supposed to be red, by the way. Contract said guards red, then they showed up.
That looks exactly like the car you drove on the track.
The car I drove on the track was a Weissach. This is no Weissach.
Well, this is yellow. The one you drove was yellow.
It was, yeah,
That's
the same color. Yeah. This is a non-Weissach, but the one in the contract was red, and this one's yellow, which is better for us. Yellow cars are good for the YouTube thumbnail. In honor of cars with big wings, it's our 5 favorite cars with big wings.
Big wings.
5 favorite cars with wangs. What did you? What was your qualifications for making your list? How did you?
Very arbitrary. I chose cars. I chose cars that I like the wing on, and I think added to the overall shape. Didn't look out of place, and was in some cases they were because the car was a homologation special. In others, it was just it looked rad. Very broad and subjective. What was yours?
I've got 1 where it looked rad, 3 where the wings serve a very real purpose, and 1 because it's an incredibly unique and beautiful design.
Wait, do you mean a purpose besides downforce?
Yeah.
What was the additional purpose?
Like the car didn't handle for shit without a
Oh,
wing.
like Audi TT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not that, but yes.
Right.
But
Okay.
that.
Like
Yeah.
it was dangerous, and then they fixed something.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't go with that. Mine
Yeah.
seemed like they all had wings. All had
In
wings to
original
begin with.
design, yeah.
And in one case, the wing added quite a lot of front lift, from what I read. So it was too
Okay.
much rear wing.
All right.
Yeah.
So will you start? What do you got?
Well, speaking of too much lift, 2004 Subaru WRX STI.
Box wing.
Box wing.
Box wing. Yeah. Iconic wang.
Iconic wing. I like this because it was the indicator at the time that you had the fastest version. When the 2.5 RS was out in '99, it had a wing about half this height, but you had a very boring naturally aspirated engine. The car was not fast or exciting. So this, 2 years after the WRX arrived, which had a very low wing that I thought looked pretty good, this was a huge step in my opinion.
The wing on the original WRX looked like an artistic model of a jetliner that somebody would have on their desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
An Art Deco 60s. Like, it's the kind of thing that would sit on the concierge desk at the TWA hotel.
Yeah, or like it was an overhead shot of a whale like descending into the sea. Yeah, it was like that, and it was exciting. But this, when you saw this go by in 04, you're like, oh shit, that person has the rally-derived car with the diff and the transmission and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought
they probably
it
also
good.
have weed.
Not when it first came out. The third owner has weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first owner is doing autocross stock into their 70s.
100%. They're an engineer. They're 52 or something like that. So that was for me a thing. But I remember looking up the Aero, and it added a lot more rear downforce than front. So people had a little bit of a lift issue at high speed.
Yeah.
About 150, they got a little.
At 150? If you're doing 150 in a fucking Subaru,
I did.
Stop.
I did. I did it once, and I went, "Oh, this doesn't feel
That's not good.
like it should be doing this."
No, it shouldn't. That's not good. Those cars are geared for real high speeds, weren't they? You could go pretty fast in one of those. Yeah. My first one, shocker, incoming.
Superbird.
Lamborghini Countach. Lamborghini Countach. The wing was actually the Cannonball Run movie car came first. And then people started calling Lamborghini and saying, I want that on my car. And they were like, but that is a movie prop. And they're like, well, you better fucking figure out where it came from and put it on the car. It's literally exactly the same wing that people would put on the Di Tommaso Pantera a little later, the Pantera GTS. Well, this one's got some really weird side skirts going on there that aren't supposed to be there. That's very weird. Huh?
Nothing.
See the side skirts?
I just thought it might have been a die cast, but then I realized it's the size of a couch.
Pretty sure that's a real car.
Yeah.
But I've seen those side skirts before. I don't know why they ended up on certain cars. I don't think they're factory, but they are kind of funky looking. So the wing doesn't actually do anything on the Countach.
Is it total neutral?
It's totally stalled. It's
wow.
It's pure aesthetic. But I personally, and I realize there's people who don't like it, as an 80s kid, I love it. I think Countaches and actually Mercies as well, and Diablos look better when they've got the wing on the back. It absolutely does it for me. I've gone back and forth with Harry Metcalf because his car looks just like mine but has no wing. Oh, that is my car. How about that? How much better is it without those weird side skirts, though?
Oh, yeah.
Side skirts are fucking, aren't those bad?
Pontoons.
Yeah. It looks like you're going to...
It looks like power steps.
Yeah. Maybe that's the car they
board.
skimmed across the lake. My car now has the yellow French market fog lights on it, which looks very nice. So anyway, I'm pro-wing, and so even though it doesn't do anything, I think it adds a touch of yowza to the Countach. So that's my only one of my 5 where the wing doesn't have a genuine function.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's purely aesthetic.
That's amazing. Well, has anyone ever? I guess they're not adjustable.
Not adjustable.
You can't angle it down.
Not only is it not adjustable, it's like made of like sheet metal and screws.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they heavy?
I don't know if it's heavy. I've never picked it up, but like there's on the inside of the fins, like there's screws. Like it's not like a quality item.
Okay. So if someone angled it, it wouldn't improve the performance of the car. That's what I'm saying.
I think it would probably create a bunch of lift in the back at the front, and I don't think rear downforce is like a thing that Countaches need. It doesn't. I don't think it would do anything.
They can't get the power down.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think it would do shit.
Okay.
I like how it looks, and my car will always have a wing on it.
Yeah, it looks way better.
I'm pro-wing.
It looks way better.
But if you're not, I'm not going to fight you. You don't have to like the wing. If you like a Countach better without a wing, it's okay. I understand your choices. They're like the pure designs.
My second one.
Oh, yes. 190 Evo 2.
Mercedes 190 Evo 2. I don't want any of these.
Reject cookies.
I mean, granted, they did a lot of body work on it. I mean, these fender flares and everything. But for me, the angle of the wing matches the angle of the headlights. It's boxy in front, boxy in the back.
This is so similar to the STI.
It's very similar. Oh, I know. But this car, homologation car.
Yeah.
They made 502 of them because they had to make 500. And then This thing got unveiled in 1990, and then it won the DTM championship in 91, 2, 3. And I think in 92, it went first, second, third.
Yeah.
Like they swept it.
Yeah.
So it was functional as fuck. Car didn't have a ton of horsepower. Street car's like 230 horsepower.
Yeah, it's slow. This was a 2.5, so they got a little bit more power out of it.
A little bit, but
Yeah.
it was just... But
it's still like 200 horsepower.
It's not a lot,
It's not a lot, yeah.
but it has so much attitude. I mean, the one downstairs, still down there,
yeah.
like underneath that cover.
Yeah.
Under the cover, it looks badass. And
the fitted cover that like goes around the wing is really funny.
And this is the most, in my opinion, the most extroverted Mercedes that has existed until they started doing like the GTR Pro and maybe some Black Series. But even those were usually like the low lip spoilers. But this thing, the wing is almost as tall as the roof.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this car is actually not the wing, it's how low the front fender is. Like the one we have downstairs, it like that fender is like underneath my kneecap.
Oh, I mean just the height
whole
of the car.
The whole nose is so low, and that's the factory ride height. The car is slammed.
Yeah, it's serious, but you're right. It is.
It's so fucking low. Yeah, it's such a cool car. I don't hate that choice. That's a good one. The next one on my list is the McLaren 600 LT, and 600 LT is a lovely car. It's not my favorite McLaren. I do like the 7 Series cars better. However, the 570S was fucking hairy. When you were going real fast and you would hit the brakes from high speeds, the 570S, the back got really light and would move around a lot. And to date is the only McLaren I've ever looped on a racetrack. And a certain motoring journalist from Europe, who's quite well known, experienced something similar and spun a 570S braking from high speed at a famous airfield turned racetrack. And the McLaren engineers said that they were pushing for a wing on the 570S, but the designers didn't like it. They wanted a cleaner look in the back. And so when the 600 LT came out, it has a big fixed wing on it, which solves the rear stability problem.
It's the Koenigsegg test, I think.
Yeah, which I will just say right now, that is the next one on my list. The Koenigsegg CCX with the Top Gear wing, which they called because the Stig spun it out a bunch on the track. And then Christian von Koenigsegg added a fucking wing to the CCX, which solved that problem. Early cars did not have the wing, and then they added the that's my friend Doug's car, the black one, the CCXR. That's my homie Hotel Doug's car.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, this one.
yeah. So that's the top. That's the one with the top
gear wing. Yeah, small little thing. It's almost like a bridge across between the fenders.
But it did make a difference.
It sure did.
So those two, it's cars that were originally designed without a wing, but probably should have had one for functional reasons, and then they got a lot better when it was added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing that cars with this level of performance that wasn't discovered. Like the Audi TT. I'm sure they did high-speed testing, but like it was kind of a putt-around coupe. But we're talking McLaren.
Right.
That, I'm sure they drove it on the track. I hope engineers reported, hey, this is really unstable at 150 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And yet they still said, no, just send it out as it is.
Yeah, looks good.
We want it to
looks good without the wing. Yeah.
I don't know. It's brave.
The Koenigsegg, I think, I mean, they weren't, at the time, they hadn't done a ton of racetrack testing.
True.
They were doing runway stuff and high speed, straight line stuff, and it was only later that they started doing,
Because I think that turn at Top Gear, it was like, that's a very high speed corner, right? Yeah, it's like it's flat out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 3, 4?
Double wang.
Ford Escort Cosworth. It's just 2-tiered wing.
Yeah.
It's
double
so
wang.
extroverted in the back, race car derived and all that. But I just think it's very unique.
Yeah.
And you don't see it very often. And definitely on a hatchback, they usually have like a little one at the top now. But this is sort of a hatch coupe.
They didn't really do any other double. There's not a lot of double wings out there.
Look at this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It has a
looking.
strut in between the two wings to join it. This is like
Well,
a
yeah, because it
support
would probably
pillar.
snap itself off.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah.
I just think it's a very unique shape, and you don't see it. It hasn't really been copied.
This
done
photo is
again.
from like a Ford meet. Shout out to that Escort in the back there.
It's an Escort party.
Yeah.
Don't Google that.
I do like a fucking Escort Cosworth. That's lovely.
It's cool, and I love the size of it, and I think the shape of the hood is really nice. Look at these flares.
Yeah, and it's a rear wheel drive hatchback.
That's awesome.
That is superior.
What a great little thing.
Yeah, there's one of those in California.
Really?
Yeah, my homie fucking Joe drives one of those. Actually, his might be a Sierra Cosworth.
Well, I think you could buy those in the U.S., right?
No.
Which one?
It was
you could buy the
it was the
Merkur
Merkur
here, which looks like
here, which is
not
a little
good.
kind of wonky.
It's very wonky.
Yeah, it's like a sad
This thing's
Sierra
cool.
Cosworth. I think his is a Sierra, not an Escort. But it's, yeah. I don't hate that choice either. That's all right. Double wing FTW. Yeah. My next one, coming out of left field, the Chris Rado Scion TC time attack car with the Fwing. This thing this was the first time I ever really saw a proper Fwing.
Look at this dude.
There were like a bunch of different variations on the Fwing. But yeah, this is the one I like, where the front wing is like above the windshield.
Tall. I mean, at this angle, it looks taller than the rear wing. And
I think it is. Because I think if it was lower, you couldn't see.
Oh yeah.
So
good
it
point.
has to be higher to see under.
This is like an early F1 car. They did this, I think, in the late '60s. Someone had two wings where they're both on struts.
Yeah.
They're both hugely tall. This is so wild.
Yeah. And not a production car, obviously. And this was like 1,000 horsepower and all-wheel drive and all this crazy stuff. And Rado, that guy now owns this place, World Motorsports, which has a really cool dyno down in Torrance. But for a while, this was like the craziest time attack car out there. And the Fwing, it worked. The car was really fast. It did actually work.
It's so amazing.
It's a bold move.
What it looks like, I don't know, like not a funny. Yeah, it looks like someone took the rear wing on a funny car and then just bolted it to the front of a Scion TC.
I think it's the same wing that's mounted on the back.
That's amazing.
It's just on a different angle. And it looks like the angle is, very adjustable, obviously.
Yeah.
It's pretty
You
crazy.
can trim it out. You can fly.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Flip it upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go Fwing.
Go Fwing. All right. Well, my next one is, speaking of what I would call giant motorsport derived wings, Viper ACR.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. You mean the last gen one, right?
Yeah.
The end one?
What?
The end one.
The
right?
end one. The one that went and won all the records.
Although, now that I kind of like, that one's good. But man, the early Viper ACR
this
wing,
one?
the one go down on the left side there, the one on the track, that one. Oh, that's one gen back. I can't really. No, that's not it.
Well, in 2016, that was the year that they went and they set 13 road course records.
Right.
And they tried to do Nürburgring. It didn't work out for them, but it was like Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Virginia International Raceway, 10 others. They just went around with this thing. But what I like is that this car is so extreme looking in GTS form that when they added the wing, I don't think it detracted. Again, like for me, aesthetics are a big thing with the wing. I think there's cars where they've added a wing. Aston Martins, it adds performance, but I think it just looks bad. It just looks tacked on.
The Vantage F1, yeah,
the Vantage F1,
that's no good.
It's too low, and it doesn't look racy enough in the front. This car was ready for it, and then it went around and set all these records. It kind of had this cool underdog story. The wing is wider than the car, which is insane when you see it in person.
Yep, very important.
Strong enough that our friend Alana Scher did a photo where she was sleeping on top of the wing in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And I just think it is, talk about functional. Like it went out and they just set all these records. I think it's rad.
Yep, that's a good wing. I don't love the car to drive.
I agree. Ergonomically.
To drive, it's not for me, but I get it.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And the wing is very large compared to the size of the car. Yeah. It's but I'm going to go the other way with my last one. The wing that is not a wing. Guys, got to take one quick break from the show for Give Me the VIN. Whether you've got a regular car, an exotic car, an old car, a new car, if you want out of it, Give Me the VIN wants it, and you can sell it to them quickly, easy, and for more money than any of those big box car stores will give you by going to givemethevin.com/smoking tire. That's givemethevin.com/smoking tire. They want to buy your car. Could be a regular car, could be a cool car, could be a crappy car. It doesn't matter. If you've got a car you want out of, Give Me the VIN wants it. So go to givemethevin.com/smoking tire. Just put in your VIN number or your license plate number, and they will make you an offer instantly. You can bring it down to one of their locations, or they'll come pick it up right from your house. It's fast, it's easy, and you can put that money in your pocket by making extra cars go away at givemethevin.com/smoking tire. Now, back to the show. But I'm going to go the other way with my last one. The wing that is not a wing. Ferrari 599 buttresses. The flying buttress wing is a more elegant wing.
True.
Because it's not. Maybe I'm copping out, but it is a wing because it is an aerodynamic element that wind goes on both sides of. It
So
does
is the car.
provide aerodynamic assistance, downforce, but it's prettier than if there was a giant wing tacked on the back.
Okay, then I will take away my original one, and I'll go with new 4GT because I agree. The buttress stuff looks sexy as hell. It's incredibly functional. I know the new 4GT also has a giant wing on the back.
It does have
but
both,
when you
yeah.
look at it from the back or front, and there's just this massive hole that you could throw footballs through, and that's just channels the air, and it looks like an open wheel car that's just wearing like a car cover, then yeah, buttresses.
Yeah. Buttresses are a good move. Shout out to Jason Castriota for buttressing the Ferrari 599. That's all right. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's fucking cool. That's a winner. All right.
Nice.
There we go. 10 cars with awesome wings. That is for you. Let's go to the Patreon. We've got a bunch on there. Just a reminder, our merch store is up at thesmokingtireshop.com, or go to thesmokingtire.com and click on the merch tab. Just a few bits of that merch left. The stuff that's up there right now, once it is sold out, we will not be making any more of it. So let's get it fucking done. Thesmokingtireshop.com, or go to thesmokingtire.com and click on that merch tab. Of course, if you want to ask questions of the live show, if you want to get the show ahead of time, if you want to get an ad-free listening experience, patreon.com/thesmokingtirepodcast is where to do it. It is good over there. Murray says, I'm considering trading my WRX for a used 2020 BRZ for $25K, or a new one.
Whoop.
Go back. What happened? Or a new one for $35K. I can swing the $10K difference up front, but the thought of depreciation scares me. I'm looking to buy in December as a present to myself. Is the newer design worth $10K? The design isn't, but the engine probably is. I mean, I'd rather the new one feels quite a bit faster on the road than the old one does. Right?
Oh,
the new
yeah.
BRZ?
Yeah, they fixed that torque hole. And people have dynoed them and found that they're making a lot more power at the tire than was reported.
Yeah.
So that's also really good.
It feels much faster on the road.
Yeah.
If you can afford the newer one, I'd probably buy the newer one. Christian says, when is the Ioniq 5N video coming? I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I'm going to drive the car April 8th, 9th, and 10th at Laguna Seca. And I'm guessing there's no embargo after that because I've seen people have done something. So shortly after that, I'm also doing a story on it for Road and Track. We talked about the Cadillac Celestique recently with Tyler Hoover. Go check out that show. Nolan says, I work at a big Cadillac dealer in an affluent area. We have one order so far, and the MSRP came out to $525,000. Woo! No thanks. Dre in Houston says, got an M Engineering tune on a 992, 600 plus horsepower. Damn. My question is there a car culture that you guys don't understand or agree with? For me, it's the rolling cold diesels. I would say I definitely don't agree with the rolling cold diesels. I think if you're like destroying the environment for something, like you have to breathe that air too.
I mean, drifting's not the most eco-friendly
True.
motorsport.
That's true.
I will say I understand the rolling coal thing. Like it's a display of power. It's the same as like I think the internal energy or idea is the same as doing a burnout or revving your super loud engine. You're trying to get attention. You're trying to display your superiority. You're acting tough. Like I understand it. I do think it's silly because a lot of times you're not going very fast. Like the diesel trucks that go drag racing. And you watch an F-350 run an 11, I mean, that is an impressive thing. That's a building going very, very fast. But people that just like drive in traffic and roll coal at a Prius, I think is just really douchey.
I understand it. I just don't agree with it. I think it's dumb.
He asked if there's one we don't understand.
It said understand or agree with. Yeah,
right, I'm
sure.
going with understand with agree with.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be, I don't think it's my place to say I don't understand a car culture trend because it's like, well, someone can like what they like. I don't have to like it.
I don't understand anyone who puts their Instagram on their car.
They want to get clicks and they hopefully get sponsors or whatever. I don't know.
That's dumb. You're not going to get either of those things, but you might get in a lot of trouble.
If you do something really dumb.
And then the cop goes and looks at your Instagram and, oh, look, you have a fucking habit of doing dumb shit. Yeah. That one is probably the biggest one. Alejandro said tips on etiquette for passing cyclists on mountain roads. He says I went up a hill recently with a car club and I was surprised how many people were passing cyclists on curves by going partly over the double yellow. I slowed down behind the bikes until I couldn't see around that. The road was clear to pass. I agree with your assessment. I would not cut a blind corner to pass a cyclist.
Yeah, good Lord.
There's also a lot of people that have like really bad judgment and would just like do that.
I mean, I think going over double yellow, if you can see the whole road ahead of you.
Yeah, but that's not what Alejandro's talking about. He's talking about on the inside of a blind corner.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at all.
That's a great way to have a head-on collision with somebody.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that at all. I would definitely wait until you can see. And I mean, that's it.
You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Slow down so you can see. Give them room. Give a wave.
Yeah. Don't be a dick. Don't antagonize cyclists. They have the right to use the road too. Bud 215 looks like Genesis is going to have a performance brand of its own called Magma. This I think is really funny because like Genesis is a spin-off brand of Hyundai. And now there's another spin-off brand of Genesis.
Yeah. We're in the Hobbs and Shaw phase.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that concept car that they've got there next to their other cars really makes their other cars look not so great, even though their other cars are pretty great. But, okay, sure. Genesis Magma.
Right.
Magma's a really funny word. What was the rest of the question? I think the name is stupid, but Genesis having a performance brand is cool. It's like N or M or any of that shit, right? But
I think that it's instead of being one alphanumeric character,
it's Magma.
A name.
Yeah.
I guess it would be.
Depends
It's like Dark Horse. Is it kind of that?
No, it's just like one car.
Because Ford uses SVT.
Yeah.
They should have just gone. Yeah, they should have just gone with letters instead of Magma.
Yeah. People are tired of alphanumerics and want there to be names for stuff, but then when companies actually come up with names for stuff, people are like, that's dumb.
Yeah, I think I would rather just do alphanumerics and have them go, oh, how boring, than have them turn my new name into memes or have it mean something terrible in a different language or something.
Yeah. Magma's just funny because that movie reference is,
Also, well, lava does move fast, I guess. Like, it can move very fast. It can also move very slowly.
Yeah. I get it's like molten hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
These cars are hot. Spicy.
I didn't know Genesis was like selling enough cars to have a performance brand.
I don't know. I mean, or
They should
or maybe
probably work
Hyundai's.
on Genesis first.
Their cars are nice though.
They are, but like people don't really buy a lot of them.
I don't know how many you need to see around. I see a good amount of their SUVs. I think I see a lot of those. Like the midsize, we haven't driven in a long time.
I can't remember when the last time I saw a G70 was.
That I agree with. Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a nice car. Michael Cosgrove, opinion on McLaren brakes. I recently read a U.S. journalist claim that they're oddly spaced and relatively high effort, but then I heard a British journalist state that the spacing and effort is tailored for left foot braking. I like McLaren brakes. They are definitely different.
I never had a problem with the spacing. If
I don't have a
you can
problem
left
with
foot brake, it's fine. I do think they're stiff. The pedal action is stiff.
Yeah.
But
And a stiff pedal is better for left foot braking.
yeah,
because you're not going to jab it as hard.
Yeah, true.
Like when you go to like rally school and they teach you left foot braking, they disconnect the power boosters.
Yeah.
So you're left foot braking with manual brakes, and that's much easier. But like I happen to like them, whether I'm left foot braking or right foot braking. I get used to that pedal very quickly, and I like it. I don't know who rode that they're oddly spaced. I mean, they're kind of tight together, but like I think it's fine.
Yeah, I never had an issue with that.
The pedal is heavier than other cars.
Yeah,
but that's intentional.
But the spacing, I never noticed.
Yeah. Sully says the higher 911 trims like GT3, RS, etc., get heaps of praise for what they change on the platform to improve the performance and driving experience. Would a base no options rear-wheel drive PDK 992 Carrera still feel like a complete sports car, or does it feel lacking until you add options or jump up in trim? It would still be a pretty nice car across the grand scheme of cars. The base car doesn't get like a limited slip diff. Like you probably want to go, you have to go to the T or an S to get the good diff. I'd probably want that.
It's still going to feel like a sports car, though. I mean, because it is. It's fundamentally at its core, it's a sports car. So, but I think you have to remember that people reviewing, RSs, STs, etc. Like we drive everything, so we will notice the change in how it feels when you go from base to plus to whatever, and it's going to get stiffer and it's going to get more reactive, and the engineers are going to do all this work to change the performance and raise it of each car and make it feel different. But for a normal person, like to hop into a 911 and drive it, it's going to feel quick.
Yeah.
The steering's probably going to feel really good unless you have been driving like, I don't know, Ferraris or something, or Miatas that are like track cars. So I don't think you have to always feel like you won't get a good driving experience unless you go to the upper echelons.
But it won't feel all that fast. I mean, a base PDK 911 is still a $100,000 car, and it won't feel crazy. It's like 375 horsepower. It's not going to be a super fast car. It'll be all right, but it's not.
I think it's fast. I think it just depends on what you've. I think it depends on what you're getting out of.
Yeah.
Or what your experience is.
Yeah. But the only I wouldn't want to get a 911 that doesn't have a limited slip diff, and you don't have to be like drifting to feel the difference.
True.
In that. That one is a big one. Probably want sport exhaust, stuff like that. But a base 911 is still nicer than a lot of other cars.
Yeah.
You're starting from a pretty high place. Sean Stewart says, why does there remain such a large gap in the reliability of certain car brands? After making cars for 100 years, brands like Audi, BMW, Chrysler, Dodge, and others still don't make cars that can hit 100,000 miles without serious expenses like many of the Japanese brands. Is it that they purposely choose not to prioritize reliability, or they simply aren't capable of designing and building reliable cars? Well, it's not one thing, right? There's companies that build higher performance cars have tighter tolerances in order to get that performance, and might have a higher maintenance interval as a result of it. And other companies like Toyota doesn't have a lot of everything they do is like a generation behind.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But it's like not as tuned for performance, and it's like tuned for long-term dependability. Like that's a choice they've made. Like whereas the German brands are often on the forefront of performance and technology, and that they're going to have like more problems.
Yeah, because it's more complex. I mean, M3s, like they made the most power per liter for NAs for a while, and they went to high pressure turbo systems early, and they're trying to make 414 to 470, now 503 horsepower out of an inline six with turbos on it. And and then when we talk about Lexus, they were sticking with 3.5 V6s for a long time, and then they stuck with their same 5-liter V8 for a really long time. They're always behind in terms of acceleration and general performance, but the trade-off is that their stuff will last a really long time. And I think it's true for cheaper brands, Toyota, Honda, etc., versus BMW or Audi entry products. Like the Germans are always, like you said, trying to be a little bit more refined, a little bit more interesting, and trying to push barriers a little bit more.
Yeah. Tim's question relates to driving the GT3 RS, but I haven't driven it yet. It showed up here and it's parked outside, so we can revisit that one next week. How many more we got? A few more?
We got...
Oh, that's a lot. Okay, well, let's see how many we get through here. New York Teeth. How do you see the short and long-term value of 718, GT4, and Spiders going in the next 5, 10, 20 years? I mean, that's a thing that you can quantify based on the past. I mean, those cars are not going to depreciate to zero. They're always going to have an audience. They're balanced, they're well made, they're fun to drive. There's a good aftermarket support for them. There's good support for them within Porsche. They're culturally relevant. And so I think and they're going to, I mean, I don't know that they're going to stop making GT4s gas cars, but like, they're definitely going to stop making regular gasoline Boxsters. So all those GT cars will be very in demand for an audience. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be like over sticker, but they're definitely going to depreciate slower than a lot of like not as focused sports cars. And of course, the manual transmissions will be the most sought after, just like every other sports car that has. I mean, look at a 991 GT3. Manuals are worth more. Any car where a manual was an option in the used market, the manual is worth more. All of them. So, I mean, 5, 10, 20 years? I don't know. But they'll probably go down for a bit, and then maybe they'll go back up. Like, 996 turbos are now 20 years old. There's 996 GT3s are back. I don't know if they're over what they would be MSRP adjusted for inflation. And the best examples will be the most valuable, but there will always be some value. I wouldn't buy one as an investment, but it will depreciate slower than a less focused car for sure. Gabe purchased a used Lexus LC500. Great choice. Says, I love the car, but mine was not an option with an LSD. I didn't realize that was an option. The two I've driven both had it, but it didn't occur to me that was optional.
There are a couple cars that I've been shocked where the LC was optional. Some AMG products. I'm
Really?
like, what? Well, yeah.
Do you feel an LSD is a must for a GT car? Yes. He has no plans to track it, but I do spirited drives on weekends and considering getting a set of winter tires. Not sure though how much those will help without the diff. They will help because winter tires aren't just about power. They're also about braking and handling, which the diff only has certain bits to do with. LSDs are $1,500 on eBay, plus I would have to find someone to install. P.S. That's a salvage LSD. New ones are north of $5,000.
Wow.
I'd put the salvage one in. I mean, if it's a rebuilt, like,
Yeah, I would do that if you had a reputable shop do the install, because when you go to sell it, if you ever sell this car, someone will say, oh, it doesn't have the LSD option, but you have an LSD in it, and then you have to be able to answer those questions in a way that makes the buyer feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you're going to keep it for a long time, it'll be better on. I mean, if you're doing spirited drives on the weekends a lot, you'll notice a difference.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then I wouldn't bother with it. If it was just like
cruising down the
highway. If it was just
highway.
cruising, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're actually going to do any kind of performance driving at all, you definitely want it. Scroll plays. Let's see. Richard H. How does a base Taycan compare to similarly priced or gas or electric sedans or wagons? Is it worth considering compared against other EVs, or does it hold its own against similarly priced gas cars? Yeah, it holds its own against similarly priced gas cars. I mean, it's the best part about a Taycan is that it feels like a Porsche. So it has really low center of gravity. It has great steering. You sit down in between the wheels. It looks like a Cayman looking out the front.
Yeah.
You know, it handles really well. You know, it's not as fast as like an M3 competition, but it's still very fun and it's got instant response. So, but that's less important than the fact that like the fact that it's an EV matters because it has to fit into your life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's weird to me when people are like, because whether something is gas or EV is a huge deal, just like whether something has a back seat or not, you know? So, like, you got to figure that out first. If you're purely buying the thing for performance, like I probably wouldn't get that car, period. But
Right.
like,
for that money, you could get a lot of other things that are faster. I mean, you could just get a Panamera S that's used.
Yeah.
And it'll feel the same.
yeah. But like, you can't really make the comparison because EVs are so much more expensive compared to like other thing. Like for 100K, you get a lightly used Panamera Turbo S. You know, if that's what you want. But I mean, but I do love the base Taycan. There's a video of it, and I love it. But if you have to assume that what you want is an EV.
Yeah.
That's the first. You know the trees. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. The very first yes, no is do you want an EV?
Yeah.
And then you go from there. Everything on the yes side.
Is the base one rear-wheel drive only?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's lovely. It's like 380 horsepower rear drive.
I remember I edited your video. It was
Yeah.
a white one. You liked it a lot. It was
Great.
like 89,000 at the time.
Yeah. Still feels quick. And like the new one with the longer battery, I think it has like almost a 400-mile range.
Whoa.
Yeah. The new Panamera with the fucking, if you get a base Panamera with active ride and long range, that'd be fucking sick. It'd be awesome. My name is a verb. What's your stance on hidden headlights? I know you don't like pop-ups. I think you like hidden headlights, right?
I do. I mean, he mentions the Riv and the Camaros. I like them a lot on that because it doesn't distract from the shape of the car. And then when they're popped out, it doesn't distract or ruin the shape of the car. Yeah.
Jordan Koch, it's interesting that you feel self-conscious about the price of the Rolls-Royce. Do you not feel the same way about top-tier exotic sports cars that you drive? Yes, you're talking 300K instead of 500, but does that really matter at that point? I'll have you know, Jordan, that the McLaren 750 I just drove was $470,000. I do feel self-conscious. When I drive those cars around Los Angeles, I make sure to keep extra $5 and $10 bills in my wallet to give to homeless people, like the ones sitting on the medians, because I do not want to roll up to those folks and not have something to give them in a car like that. So I do feel self-conscious, but like I said in the video and on the podcast, when people see you in a super high-performance sports car, they see you as a certain type of enthusiast that has bought their like dream. When they see you in a Rolls Royce, just being rich is the thing. Being so rich is the thing.
Very few people had a poster of a Rolls Royce on their wall. I think that's, so more people will be excited by seeing the supercar than will be mad about it. Then Rolls Royce will be the opposite, I think.
Correct. I do still feel somewhat self-conscious about it, and I do keep money in my pocket for that reason, in case I find some destitute folks that I feel like I need to do a nice thing for. But yeah, there's other elements to those super sports cars besides just being expensive, so it's not as bad. Dave Cucci says, last show there was a question about depreciated EVs. How about a $25,000 to $30,000 Polestar 2? Found a 2021 locally with Öhlins and gold brakes and 10,000 miles for $28K. I would say that's a good buy.
Wow, that's an amazing car for $28,000.
For $28,000, assuming everything else is kosher.
But they fell quickly.
Yeah. Who's looking at a used Polestar?
We reviewed that like a year ago.
Yeah. They still make. I mean, they're still making it. It's still the same car.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's an old car. I'm saying it was very recent that we drove a new one.
Yeah, but that car was probably $60,000.
Yeah, well, we had the special edition one. So
I think
it's
the
a little bit more.
regular Polestar too. I mean, assuming it's the performance one, because I think if it's Olin's, it
Yeah,
would be
and it's got
right.
the good stuff.
Fuck, 28 grand.
That's a really
bad.
nice driving car for $20,000.
Yeah, assuming it cosmetically reflects its mileage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's all
And
right.
it has a warranty. Make sure
Yeah.
it has a warranty and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
damn.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. Thank you to everyone for your questions. I appreciate all of you patrons on this one. And we will be back next week with, oh, man, going back through all those windows of cars with wings. That we had some good choices on there. Thanks to our patrons. Make sure you hit up our shop at thesmokingtireshop.com or go to thesmokingtire.com and click on the merch tab. Either one will take you to the same place. Get it while it's hot, boys and girls, but really boys. All right, that's it. Bye.